What's up, guys? Pachata Rockstar here, and we're doing another Star Realms replay. And I hope you like this game here with Eagleton. This is a game where you want to have just enough healing, just enough bases. You don't need to overdo it. You don't need to go nuts when that's not your strategy, but you need just a little bit, just enough to give you that one extra turn. Let's take a look and let's see how that concept comes into play. Alrighty. So, Eagleton drops 2. He picks up the Scrapper. Absolutely got to do it. Little unfortunate he didn't have one more to get a Recycle Bot. This is going to be strong for us. So, we already know he's got a Scrapper. We need to get a Scrapper to match. Getting Recycle Bot is absolutely the way to go. Most likely I'll be picking up Patrol Cutter afterwards. I do kind of want to have this sort of like get 3 trade, be able to do some damage thing. This is a Scrapper, but it only scraps once. It may not be worth it. But if I buy Recycle Bot and like another 2-drop comes out that I'd rather have that I could pair with Alignment Bot, it might be worth it. But in all likelihood, we'll be getting Patrol Cutter. Oh, plans change. Plans change. Alright, so we're definitely going to get Lancer. We're definitely getting Alignment Bot here. This gives us a multi-time Scrapper in the hand. This gives us a one-time Scrapper in the discard pile. This Lancer will give us damage. He's already bought a Scrapper that scraps in hand. We'll see what his game plan is. We don't quite know yet. Again, just because you bought Scrap on turn 1 doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go hardcore Scrap. But this, I think, gives us more options to try to counter whatever he's doing. And I also think it allows us to start pushing the tempo a little bit, put him back on his heels a little bit. Oh, okay. So Predator's out, Patrol Cutter's out. We know he had 2 trade, so he'll probably have somewhere between 4 and 5 right now. If he has 5, um, getting the Parasite's probably the way to go. Although there's something to be said about going Patrol Cutter Predator. Um, since he already has a Scrapper, something that would increase his efficiency is probably a good thing to do. Union Stronghold's not a bad play either. It is 5 health. It does deal 3 damage. Maybe you can pair it with some blobs and stuff later. But we'll see. If he only has 4, though, it kind of depends on what strategy you want to go. Maybe he goes Patrol Cutter to try to get more trade to pick up the Incinerator or the Union Stronghold or the Parasite. Maybe he just goes Predator and Explorer. That's another good route, and that will allow you to keep up the aggression. We'll see. We'll see. He's got options. So he's going to go, yeah, he's going to go Predator Explorer. I think I like this play. I like it better. Just go aggro, go after your opponent, go face. You're the first player. You have a Scrapper. He doesn't have any protection. You don't necessarily want to pick up a base either, because then that would trigger the Lancer to go off. This is a good play. This is a good play. I like what he's doing. So, this might seem a little odd to some people. Patrol Cutter is a little more defensive. It deals damage. Pairs a little bit better with our deck, maybe. But giving him the Cargo Pod and giving him a chance to trigger the Predator is not something we want to do. Plus, Cargo Pod does give us one more trade, which will allow us to pick up the bigger cards. I think it might be a tie with a slight edge to Patrol Cutter in a vacuum. But the fact that we're going to keep a card that would potentially give him card draws and give him access to a lot of bigger cards is the better play. And let's see here. Does he have 5? Nope, he's got 3. Yeah, this is the right play because he's going aggressive, right? He's going Scrap. He's got a Predator. He's got the Scrapper. So this gives him more damage, gives him a little bit of trade. Yes, it's one less trade than an orbital shuttle would be, but he knows what he wants to do. He's coming after me. He's coming face. He's attacking strong. So this is the right play. We see a Scrapper. We buy a Scrapper. Yes, we have enough for the Parasite, but we can't give him anything. We can't let him to get a Scrap Edge on us. And now we have a pretty clear scrap edge, so I think that's how we're going to try to win the game. We're going to win with scrap. We're going to win with efficiency. And I managed to pick up the Federal Transport, or Alliance Transport here. And it's really good with the deck. We have multiple yellows now. They can trigger each other. It's potentially a healer later on if I can get some blues. But it furthers our strategy, and I think it's good. I think it's a little bit better than the Explorer. But it's not like a huge buy. We're not like, oh wow, I'm glad I got that. You know, it's just hey, trying to build our deck a little further. I do feel a little behind, but we're not in danger yet. So here's an interesting thing. I didn't realize it at the time, but I did force him to discard as well instead of scrapping in my discard pile. Um, One, I don't have a discard pile, or at least I do. I do, but there are cards in there that I'd rather keep. But by scrapping this now, dealing the extra damage, the other thing it did is potentially it could keep him from getting a 5-drop. And guess what? It actually does. He would have been forced to throw the Predator away to pick up the Parasite, but instead he decides to throw Scout away and picks up the Merc Garrison. So, in hindsight, this play is actually better than I thought it was. But that was sort of the idea, was I don't have a discard pile anyway. So do I keep it, or do I try to maybe force him to not get a 5-drop? I think it's better to try to force him to not get a 5-drop. And we did. He ends up getting the Merc Garrison, which is quite good. And it's good with his deck. It will give him heal. It will give him potentially a second scrapper. It will allow him to control the trade roam a little more. So it's still a really good card for him. I can't pat myself on the back too much for forcing him to not get a 5-drop, because he did get an excellent 4-drop. But I do think it is a pretty neat play. But again, every decision Eagleton has made so far, he's clearly going aggro. Yes, this is a base, but it can do a lot of things. It can be very offensive. It can make him more efficient. So we are still going to have to worry about our own deck and figure out how to counter his aggression. And so we end up scrapping the Viper because we want to make sure that we can get 5 so we can pick up the Parasite. We cannot give him the Parasite. The Parasite's way too good. It'll allow him to get 6 drops. It potentially could give him double card draw if he pairs it with the Predator. Yeah, there's no way we can let him have it. But good news is we've got our own green card, which we can pair it with, the Cargo Pod. And maybe it gets us a 6-drop, right? Maybe instead of using it for damage, we use it to get a card. The game is still early. It's a pretty high likelihood that that will happen. I'm not normally a fan of using Parasite to get cards, but, you know, this might be one of those instances where it's worth doing. He scraps, and he picks up... this is weird. He picks up the Federal Transport. Is he worried about his life total? Huh. I don't think this is the correct play. Not even close. I think Orbital Shuttle is better because it gives him more trade. And I think Imperial Defender is better because that gives him a damage and a card draw, and he could potentially pair it with the Union Stronghold later on. But this doesn't really further an aggressive strategy. I don't really know why he's doing this. Maybe to pair with the Patrol Cutter, I guess? But he shouldn't really be worrying about his life total right now. He should be worried about killing me and killing me now. So I think this is Eagleton's first mistake. First true, clear mistake. Yeah. And so this is a little odd. I ignore the Union Stronghold, which would have paired well with my deck and would have kept blobs away from him. I also ignored the Imperial Defender, again, with the damage and stuff. I didn't go Imperial Defender Orbital Shuttle. I went with the Star Market, and the reason I did this is because his game plan is fairly clear, right? He's pretty much just going aggressive. He has a little bit of healing, so maybe he's doing the same thing that I was talking about earlier, about having just enough healing. Just a little bit of healing and mostly aggression. And that's what we're doing right here, right? We want just a little bit of healing, just enough to stave him off. It's 5 healing when it drops. It's 6 healing. It's 6 damage for him to get through. I think this is the card that's going to keep our life total just high enough for us to win with like 5 HP or something like that. So that was sort of the thought process that went into it. Given the board state, maybe there's better plays for my deck, but we're thinking a little more long term here. We're thinking a little more longer strategy. Boom, boom. Oh, and he gets Trade Hauler? See, I don't like this play again. He's not furthering his initial strategy. He should pick up Imperial Defender here. He should get the extra damage and get the card draw. You know, and Imperial Defender does pair with the Merc Garrison. It doesn't dock, but it gives extra damage. So I don't like what he's doing here. He already bought the other little healer blue card, so he doesn't need to keep going with that. So we are gonna smack face, go damage, keep attacking. Yep, yep. He gets Union Stronghold, definitely the right play. I would say scrap the Explorer too. You don't need it anymore. It gives him defense, gives him healing. So we're about at the midway point here. I'm scrapping down. So we managed to pick up 6. We definitely want to get the supply depot. It gives us card draw. It potentially allows us to discard 2 cards, gives us 4 damage. And again, right, just enough healing. We got a lot of yellows, so the likelihood of it triggering is pretty high. We are about to flip our deck. We're about to cycle. This is really good as well. Maybe even get rid of the cargo pod here. Yeah. Get him down to 26. So we're looking to win, right? We're looking to push for the win here. He picks up another base. Again, I think Imperial Defender would have been a much better card for him. Now that he has a yellow base out there, I think it's worth doing. I feel like Eagleton has kind of gone away from his initial strategy. Maybe he fears his life total, but he really shouldn't. It's not like I have that much damage. And this is what I mean. This is sort of the separation turn that I was talking about, right? Get my life total up, get his life total down, whittle him down, stay afloat. That's kind of what we're doing here. Ooh, he's able to scrap twice. Oh, and he's able to kill Star Market. That was a good turn for him. Yeah, he made another couple of unnecessary buys that, just sort of get in the way. There comes a certain point in your deck building time in the game where you just want to say, do I really need these cards? Right? Don't just buy stuff just to buy stuff. You want to look at the card and say, is this furthering my strategy or is this just bloating my deck and making me a little bit more inefficient? Because you might luck out and draw the cards that you just bought. Do you really want those cards to be good or do you want them to be bad? Because if you buy bad cards, your draws could be bad. You don't want that. Only buy cards, especially when you hit the mid game and especially when you hit the late game. Only buy cards that are going to actually help you further your strategy and get you closer to winning the game. Right? So, boom, boom. Scrap, damage, buy the Lancer. It's more damage. It's potentially more discards. He's got some bases now that I might be able to get extra damage from. This is absolutely the play. Yeah. See, and now, like, what is he doing? Is he trying to protect himself? I'm down to 28. He should be going for the face. You know, getting Colony Sea Chip is definitely a good play. Like, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying he's worried about his life total more than he should be. He should be worried more about trying to kill me and end this game sooner rather than later. There's the card draw. Boom. And now I force him to discard 3 cards. We just dropped 18 on him. We brought him down to 10. This game is, see, now we're looking good, man. And some of you might be saying, oh, hey, look, he's down to 10 now. He's almost dead. He's right to worry about his life total. But the thing is, if he had just continued with the aggressive tact that he was taking, I'd probably be dead already. Instead of him giving me a chance to become a little bit more efficient and, to make a comeback in this game. Yep, yep. Heal up, deal the damage. Here we go. Ooh, here's a big turn for him, though. Yeah, see, this is big. He sets up 2 bases. He gets damage through, and I can only kill one of them. It's big. It's big. We need to get lucky here. And he just cycled, too. He absolutely has potential to kill us. Oh, see? And then he just draws a little bad again. He keeps giving us chances to not die. We deal all the damage. Bring him down to 12. This is the problem. You give your opponent too many chances to come back, they will eventually come back. We have 12 now. He has 8. He could definitely kill us. We need to get lucky here. And we do. That's enough. GG. So, this game was a lot closer than it appeared, right? He easily, on those last 2 turns, could have drawn enough damage to kill us. Definitely was possible. So, nobody can sit here and say he played a bad game. He did not play terribly. He actually played quite well. But the thing is, he got a little scared. He got a little scared to lose, and he started trying to play to protect himself when the best thing to do would have been just to go balls to the wall and grab all the damage he could and just race me down. Because my deck was pretty defensive, and not super defensive, but I had some defensive elements in there, and that's what I was trying to do, right? Heal up just enough to counter his aggression. Heal up just enough, base up just enough to give me 1 or 2 extra turns to beat him, right? And look, that's what ended up happening. But I think the reason it ended up happening is because he kept buying a couple of defensive cards that he didn't really need. You know, sometimes you don't need defense, and sometimes the best way to win is just to attack, 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 attack. And because I knew that the best way for him to win was to play as aggressively as possible, I played just defensively enough. That's typically how you beat a super aggro deck. Usually the best way to beat an all-out aggro deck is to also have an aggro deck with like 1 or 2 bases. Or like 1 or 2 healing cards. And so then what ends up happening is he knocks you down to like 5, but the reason you're still alive is because you had those bases, you had those blockers, you had those little bit of extra healing. Um, so, I think Eagleton kind of strayed from his path, strayed from his plan. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't times when you want to change plans and change paths, but this was not one of them. You know, as a player, you got to be able to analyze the situation and say, am I still doing well? Is my strategy something that I should continue pushing, or do I need to change strategies? Do I need to look at the way this game is going and go, you know what, this plan I have in place right now is not going to get it done. I'm going to have to try to enact another plan. And in Eagleton's case, I think he kind of abandoned ship a little early. Still played very well and absolutely could have won if he drew a little bit better. So we definitely can't say he played poorly at all. In fact, I like a ton of his decisions. But that's the thing. Some plans, and especially aggro plans, um, just need a full-on commitment. You're just like, all right, we got it. We got to go. We got to do it. Everything we possibly can do to win this game, we got to do. And it's too bad that those less aggressive decisions were the things that kind of came back to bite him in the butt and have him lose this game. But that's why we play games like this, and that's why we watch videos like this, to educate ourselves and try to make us a little bit better players. And it's definitely a lesson that I learned fairly early on, is having just a little bit more defense than your opponent when you're both going aggro wins a lot of games. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. We'll see y'all later.